G'day guys, Pete here from Clinic Mastery, and today I'm going to be talking through mentoring your team members, so your therapist, using data and using numbers. Now, before I get into this, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I know I'm sorry for asking this every time, but it helps us to reach more people and to create a bigger impact, and it means the world to us. So if you get value from these videos, please like and subscribe. All right, let's jump on into using data and numbers to mentor your therapists. Now, I know what you may be thinking, and I thought this originally too. Pete, if I start talking through data and numbers with my therapists, they switch off, right? You suddenly they're just defensive, and they go, "Well, I didn't get into healthcare to look at numbers and to treat people like data and to hit KPIs." Okay, fair. We got into healthcare, all of us, because we want to make a difference, because we want to genuinely help people. And so the angle I'm going to help you to understand today, to talk through these numbers and this data with your team, is looking at it from the perspective that numbers tell a story and they help us to understand the intangible. They help us to understand what may be happening in those treatment rooms. Now, I'm going to use some physiotherapy examples here, but you can play these out across all different types of healthcare, whether you're a speechy, OT, psych, whatever it may be. We can use these numbers and use this data to understand what's happening in the treatment room and how effective we're being. Because think of it like this. When we look at someone's cancellation percentage, if we look at two therapists, therapist A and therapist B, okay, therapist A has a cancellation percentage of 21% and therapist B has a cancellation of 8%. Now, if these two therapists are at the same clinic, treating the same type of population of people, we could hazard a guess that therapist B, with the, I think 8% I said, cancellations, is a more effective therapist in certain areas than therapist A because they have a lower cancel rate. Why do people cancel? Think of it like this. Then the number tells a story, so it helps us to understand what might be happening. Now, people cancel their appointment often when they feel like they're not getting value, when there's a mismatch in their expectations and what they receive. It's one of the main reasons. They just feel like they're not getting the value that they believe they should be getting. But they don't say that. People don't call up and say, "Hey, I just feel like I'm not getting the value in my session with Johnny, so I'd like to cancel." What do they say? What do you say when you cancel something and you don't want to be confrontational, but you just don't want to go back because you don't feel like it's worthwhile? Well, you say, "I've got a dentist appointment. Something's come up with family. I've got to work that day," whatever it may be. But people will give reasons that aren't the real reason because they don't like confrontation. And so looking at this number helps us to understand that in this example, we have a therapist who's missing the mark on meeting and exceeding expectations of the clients in front of them. And we can break this down even further. It could be that the plan isn't clearly mapped out and clearly articulated to the person in front of them. Okay? It could be that they're not building rapport well enough. They're not connecting with the person. It's very unlikely that they're not doing a great job as a therapist. It's that they're not meeting and exceeding those expectations, and often because they don't know what they are. So, a key question that I would get young therapists, if you're working with new grads this year, get them to ask this question and write it down on the note. What are your expectations of me as your therapist this session? What would you like to make sure that we do and achieve this session and over the next 3, 4 weeks, whatever it may be? Write that down and get them to reflect back on it. When someone cancels, when someone drops off, did we forget what this person's expectations of us are? That often happens. So you can start to see how we broke down cancellations, and it can be a myriad of other reasons. But you start to see those numbers, you start to use those numbers to then go, what's one thing here we can work on? Now, don't pick everything at once. Just pick one thing. If you pick one thing to work on for a month, now that move on to the next, I guarantee you in 3 months' time, that cancellation percentage is trending down. It's tracking down, which means it's becoming less of a sieve, less of a leaky bucket. And for each new client you bring in, they are getting a better treatment plan. Now, come back to what I said at the start. People say, "I didn't get into healthcare to look at numbers and to treat people like numbers and hit KPIs." No one does. And I hope no one is in healthcare for those reasons. But the numbers let us know what we're doing and if we're doing a great job. So if we see this practitioner's cancellations trend down, so if they're going from 21% cancels down to say 12% cancels over a 6 month period, what we can probably infer from this is that more people are getting through that treatment journey, which means more people are getting to the end where they're actually getting better. They're actually seeing results. So what that means is we've used this number to help us. Okay, we've taken this number, used it to help us to improve what's happening in that treatment session. So people are getting through the treatment. They're getting, in this case, out of pain. They're solving their problem. And what happens with that? Well, the reputation of the clinician goes up. Their feeling of self-worth as a therapist goes up. It's a terrible feeling when you look at your diary at the start of the week and then boom, cancels everywhere. If you're anything like me as a young therapist, they're taking it personally. They're thinking, is it me? What am I doing wrong? Okay, so their confidence as a therapist is going up. Your business reputation is improving. If people leave your clinic and they didn't get a good result, they felt like that wasn't worthwhile, wasn't valuable, they don't go, this therapist wasn't good. In this example, they may say, physiotherapy didn't work for me, and this clinic was no good. Okay, so thinking about the brand reputation as well. Now we could break down all different numbers like this. And if you'd like to, please send me a message at or an email at peter@clinicmastery.com. We could add you to the mailing list. But if you're looking at how to use data better and wondering how can I have up-to-date data that's going to help me to work with my team to improve these things, to get better outcomes for our clients, more confidence for our therapists, and better business outcomes overall, you definitely need to try Ali. Ali is our software, and I'll just share screen here really quickly so you can have a little aliclinics.com. Head over there, absolutely fantastic. It can help you from the performance side and also from the efficiency side. We have data, so you can link it up. Currently only links with Clinico, so if you're a Clinico user, this is for you. It's cheaper than having a VA do your data entry. I guarantee it, and much more effective, no mistakes, and it's up to date real time. And then we've also got the policies, procedures, etc. So you can lump those two together, run a more efficient clinic, and at the same time, be able to have better outcomes with your team. I'll link this one below. Please do check it out. There's a 30-day free trial, and it is absolutely worthwhile. If you're a clinic owner and you want to mentor your team with data, you need to have Ali. I guarantee it. I used to be a spreadsheet absolute nerd, I still am, but Ali is 10 times better. No mistakes, no data entry. All right, my friends, if you made it this far, absolutely fantastic. And I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.